Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Doomlink's Live Hunts. We are in, sadly, maybe not for some people, but for me anyway, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. So... oh, hold on. I need to make... oh, I see, very good. Sorry, thought I'd just made a terrible mistake in communications with another person unrelated to the recording of things. That's a great introduction, Doomlink. Anyway, some of you will be asking a question of me doing Generations Ultimate today. Those of you watching in the future probably won't really be asking, but those of you watching the VOD as it's uploaded, or even while I'm live, will be asking the question, Doomlink, why are you not recording Monster Hunter Tri? You did one recording, which was more of an introductory thing, and you haven't done anything since. That was like over a week ago. Where's the Monster Hunter Tri? Why are we getting Generations Ultimate? Well, there's a combination of reasons. It's two primary reasons. The first is that I don't have that much time, but to be honest, that's not the main reason. That's definitely a factor. The main reason is that days ago I attempted to record Tri with limited time allocated with which to do so, but unfortunately I was having technical difficulties with the Dolphin emulator while recording. Now, while I was trying to troubleshoot in time to be able to resume the live stream and carry on without running out of time to do the live stream at all, I did all of the troubleshooting that I could do minus restarting my computer. You know, I opened and closed things, I updated OBS, among other things, but that didn't fix the issue. The issue was essentially the emulator freezing every time I minimized OBS. Now, needless to say, I have to minimize OBS to be able to play the fucking game. So, yeah, maybe restarting my computer would have fixed it, but I just wasn't in the mood to troubleshoot that today. What I'm in the mood for is, quite frankly, to be able to sit down and play Monster Hunter drama-free and, you know, headache-free. Just want to sit down and play and record for you people. So that's why I'm doing Generations Ultimate today. I do have time to record at least twice a week for you guys, but when things go wrong, you know, I don't really have the ability to fix things. I was very frustrated that day, you know, I wanted to sit down and play some Tri. I was ready to go. I was happy with my intro as I was recording, and then it turned out the whole time my video had been freezing, and then I tried to fix it while live, and you know what? That got me really fucking angry. It's just one of the things with live streaming. You have to get it right as you're doing it, and yeah, it was not going right as I was doing it that time, and I didn't have the time to fix it. So, there you go. That's my little rant for this introduction. Hope you enjoyed that a lot. I will now begin playing the game soon, shortly. I've actually changed glasses. Those of you who watch me frequently will know that these days I've been drinking a lot of port. It's a bit of a classic staple for Doomlink recordings for me to be drinking port, but I usually drink it out of my crystal Waterford glass. Thought I'd change things a little bit and use my 1960s Bent Severin designed Holmgard glass. They're both quite special in their own way. This one's probably not as valuable, but it's valuable to me because it's, you know, very old now. And it's, you know who designed it. And it's nice when glassware survives. So, because the reality is glassware is fragile. So for it to survive, you have to be gentle with it. And because, you know, you're being gentle with it, therefore it survives, something that's quite old doesn't necessarily look very old. Because, you know, as I say, you do have to be quite careful with how you treat these things. And yeah, it's basically, you know, good as new. And it's not a bad design either. I think it's quite unique. Basically, the stem and the base of the glass are a hallmark of Ben Severin's design, at least for a particular series of Holmgard glasses, of which I have, I think, 3 examples. I think. Perhaps it's actually closer to... I have my Wait, oh no, it is. This is the controller I'm using. What the fuck? Forgot that I was using my Wii U controller with the Switch. I was about to say, this is because I was setting things up in 3 Ultimate and then had to choose this game instead. Well, that is true, but I'll get to that in a moment. To finish the point, I've got a champagne flute, I've got this, and possibly one other thing. I don't know. But at any rate. No, that other one. No, I think I've got 3 examples. No. Don't worry. I needn't confuse you, this is probably not the most riveting subject of discussion anyway, and then some of you appreciate it. In regards to 3 Ultimate, I was attempting to record that, but once again, I was greeted with the reason why Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate is dead in the West, in terms of its community on the Wii U. There is actually a reason why. I know precisely what's caused it. I would say that, on the whole, the number of people who would be playing 3 Ultimate would double if it weren't for the fact that the community was filled with a percentage of people. I don't know exactly how many, but it's enough when you've got such a small community anyway for it to ruin things when you've got just a few people doing it. But they are people going through the game either with a group of 2 or a group of 3, just friends, whatever, and they put a password on their room. Now, if you've got 5 people playing, and 3 of them are sitting in a passworded room, it sort of limits things, doesn't it? Perhaps that's not a good example, because someone's going to be left out inevitably in that situation anyway, but my point is that you are reducing the number of hunts that are around, and this time, there were 2 people playing, and they were sitting in a passworded room. Now, how many times do you think that happens in any given day in that community? I'd say fairly frequently. You know, it makes it a lot harder for people to want to play when they literally can't play with those who are online. It's not a case of, oh, well, they're not my rank, or a case of, oh, I'd rather not do their quests. It's a case of, I literally have been barred from joining the room. That's not exactly something that's going to bolster the community or encourage more people to play. It actually has the opposite effect, and it's more destructive when you have a smaller community of people. So please stop doing this. Just stop it. Because you may want to have more control over your experience by doing it with friends, rather than allowing random people to join. I understand that maybe some people don't want to invite that variable, or invite that unpredictability into their online experience. Maybe they're used to just playing with friends, but you have to understand that for this game to survive, and you're able to play it online despite the nature of the community, to be honest, but in my opinion, it's quite selfish, and also borderline tone deaf, to be coming into a community and then selfishly barring other people from the community from playing with you. You know, you should be participating, at least to some degree. And in my opinion, the bare minimum of participation is to allow people to play with you, at least to join. You know, there is an option to kick people. Now, it's not a nice thing to do, to kick people whom you'd rather not play with for a trivial reason, like, oh, this person has too high of a hunter rank, I don't want them to carry me through this series of quests that I'm doing, and therefore trivializing my experience. But you can do that if you want, but at the end of the day, at least give people the chance. Just the bare minimum of participation. It's really disappointing that this has happened in the 3 Ultimate community, and it's been going on for long enough that I can actually say with considerable confidence that it is those people specifically who are causing the 3 Ultimate community to essentially fail to flourish. Because I have actually seen several resurgences of interest in that game, but every time it just sort of ebbs away, and it's gone. And I fucking know who's doing it. It's that percentage of people who are selfish and refuse to participate. And it makes what's already a challenging situation, you know, building a small community and having it be self-sufficient and to have it be able to sustain itself despite its small size, it makes that job so much more difficult. And to be honest, I hope it stops very soon, because I don't know how long those servers are going to be up for, but if those people are causing less people to play in the last, let's say, 12 months or somewhere within that region in terms of timescale of the game's lifespan, then I'm never going to forgive them, and I will always malign them and shame them for their selfishness. Anyway, this is a turns room that I'm going to join sooner rather than later. And those of you who joined mid-rant were probably wondering where it started from. I haven't even really begun the recording yet, but we're beginning it now. Seriously though, that 3 Ultimate community is not doing itself any favors. Hold on. No armor or talismans for an HR4 quest. Well, I don't really want to do this, but perhaps there are event materials that are worth actually getting. I likely haven't done this quest before. It's a Hyper Gammoth, which is still going to be more or less a challenge, because even high rank Hyper has a lot of health. What's the fastest way to unequip all my stuff? Equip a gun, that's the fastest way. Hold on. There we go, and then I need to get rid of my talisman as well, which is usually a rather slow process. There we go. I'm not going to use a gun, however. I'm one of those people who really needs the ability to have skills. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm one of those people who needs armor skills in conjunction with their gunner weapon. Don't know why my thoughts were not flowing there. What would I like to use? Let's go longsword, keep it simple. What's going on? P2, I've played with you before. P2 is not in reference to me, just to clarify. So, it's going to be a fire weakness, presumably, in fact. Most certainly, I don't know why I'm making that sound so murky. I actually want something with decent sharpness because I don't have much in the way of sharpness, so I might bring this. That seems like I can rely on that sharpness a little bit more. This person's going to the trouble of saying that I've played with you before with another character, which makes for... Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm not allowed hunter arts either. Wait, am I reading this wrong? It says... Yeah, shut up. No armor or talismans. Well, surely I meet that requirement. Oh, for fuck's sake, I didn't unequip my helmet. Sorry guys, one moment. And I will equip hunter arts as well. I do apologize for keeping everyone waiting, it's just that the requirements have befuddled me slightly. And the reason why is because I didn't actually see a helmet get removed, because the Hayabusa feather does not have a helmet appearance. Alright, hunter arts, quickly, before these guys freak out. I'm glad they're having this, you know, strange discussion about the fact that they've played with each other before, which is, you know... It's interesting, I guess it's refreshing in this community for people to be having a discussion like that. Almost. You know, it's like seeing a treacle tart floating down a river of shit. And then I go, ugh, who the fuck's eating a treacle tart in a river of shit? And obviously misplaced it and then caused it to flow down the river. That's to explain my reaction to it. Anyway, that's a lovely analogy, Doomlink. Thanks for that. I just complained about the 3 Ultimate community, and here I am lampooning the Generations Ultimate community as well. I mean, I don't care. I really don't care. I have no reservations about speaking ill of shit communities, and that's precisely what the Generations Ultimate community is, and these days the 3 Ultimate community. You know, I hesitate to take it out on the 3 Ultimate community too much, because it's actually You know, it's lack of participation for once. It's not people participating and then adding negatively to it. It's people who are not participating, so therefore you could almost say they're not part of the community. It's because people seek not to engage with the community in 3 Ultimate that I say the community has a problem. So technically speaking, it may not be the right way to describe it, you know, saying that it's the community not doing itself any favors. So I'd say, and I don't actually think that's semantics, I think that might be important to make that distinction. You know, what is a person who is negatively affecting the community whilst participating in it, versus someone who is negatively affecting the community by choosing to bar others from playing with them, or themselves choosing not to participate in the community in that way. It's a fair question. It's not just semantics. I'm really not correctly positioned. I hope I've got enough in my spirit combo gauge. It's actually called spirit gauge. That was fairly redundant for me to describe it in that way. Oh, hey. I'll just keep doing these attacks. It's good motion value, you know. Mounting slashes. I seem to recall in the early days of World, not like the super early days, but like, let's say the first 2 months of World coming out. The first one. What people tend to refer to as base World these days. Oh, for fuck's sake. Remember when I said it's still quite a hunt? Despite the fact that it's high rank? Yeah, this is what I mean. Oh my god, are we going to fail this quest? We may actually fail this quest. Anyway, I was just going to say that people did make quite effective use of the high motion value on mounting attacks by jumping off the ledge repeatedly, and they would actually use the greatsword to do it. And it was, yeah, very deadly, and there was, I suppose, a nerf of some kind that was introduced by Capcom a month or 2 after, you know, all of the speedrunning records were just totally smashed by people using this exploit, I guess we'll call it. Are we going to fail this? It's entirely possible. I don't know. It would be sad if we did, because we do have the advantage of coming in here with G-rank weapons, and it's a high-rank monster, so this actually would have been quite a difficult hunt in Generations. I never did it, but yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me try to get away from you. I was doing the classic longsword Larry maneuver. Well, there you go. In actual fact, it was probably courtesy of Grotesque. I think I called him Grotesque before. Not as a description of the person, but rather as a misreading of his name. Yeah, thanks to that person just belting the monster to death with pierce shots. Yeah, not much challenge involved. It was dead almost immediately. He could have soloed the thing in 5 minutes with that loadout. It's a shame, but, you know, people just can't seem to separate themselves from their pierce bowguns in this generation of Monster Hunter. I'm sure they entertain rather misinformed thoughts of them being bowgunners because they use pierce bowgun, but in my opinion they're just effectively, they are acquiring a win button and they're pressing it repeatedly. Because I can tell you there's a total absence of strategy with a loadout like that, and when I talk about trivializing hunts, it's a pretty good example of what I mean. So, what are you complaining, Doomlink? You just succeeded in the hunt. Well, it's a long story. If you don't get my point now, I don't think I'll take the time to explain it. It's just arena tickets, am I correct? A ticket for admission to an underground arena where warriors fight to see who's the strongest. Now that's rather strange, because arena, in the context of Monster Hunter, is quite generic. You'd think something like an arena ticket would just be a ticket you get for doing arena quests, but no, it's actually the specific name of the specific event item, so There you go. It's not this arena that we're discussing. It's whatever the reference is to. I will restock on a max potion there. I didn't actually keep track of who posted that quest, so I don't know where we are in the turns rotation. But I will not actually end up posting anything. I see no reason to post anything. There are things that I technically need. Those of you who have been watching for a while and have been keeping track will know that I do actually need Elderfrost Gammoth stuff, but I have very little desire to bother with that monster. I'm sick of fighting it, and I'm also sick of having people fuck up my runs whenever I do the double Gammoth. Like, I do the double Elderfrost Gammoth, and then some guy always figures out a way to fuck up enough to cause us to fail. Or to not have achieved my goal of getting trunk spines, and it's soul destroying, and I'm sick of it. Because if you need the number of trunk spines that I need, and then you very often depart on quests that you don't want to do anyway, and then get no trunk spines, it's enough to very effectively reduce your motivation to fucking nothing. It happens almost immediately. In one moment there is a willingness to go for it, and grind for that thing, and then, or grind for those trunk spines, and then in the next it's totally gone, and you wish you hadn't bothered. Right, whose turn is it? What's going on? Player 2's turn. It is Grotusk. He has gone from a Pierce Light Bowgun to a Longsword, which is, you know, I'm not going to say predictable, but... And the reason why I won't is because I don't know the guy. I don't know what he typically uses. Am I going crazy? I had that weird moment where I forgot that there were 2 pages to this screen, and I was like, where are the rest of the weapons? That really tells you I've been playing too many different Monster Hunter games. I'm sitting at this screen like, huh? Fucking hell. That's crazy. What I'm doing, if you're wondering why I'm just going all over the place here, what I was actually doing was, oh, here we go, Zephyr Wing. No, it's not that. That's Bolt Reaver weaponry. And that too. I'm looking for what requires arena tickets. I don't know if there are multiple weapons that require arena tickets, but this looks like... In fact, this is definitely what it is. This is a modern equivalent. Modern, this game came out in 2017, at least in Japan. A modern equivalent to the Eisenfaust from 3 Ultimate, one of the worst greatswords in the fucking series. This appears to be that weapon. Probably not exactly the same, but definitely a Generations Ultimate version of the Eisenfaust. A bit of an insulting weapon, to be honest, by design. Just shit stats. Maybe they look okay on paper if you're deeply unfamiliar with the way the stats of Monster Hunter work on weapons, but yeah, it's bad and never worth the effort. I can't even remember the monsters. It was Ketchawatra and something else. I'm just going to bring something raw-based. In fact, I may bring a hunting horn, because I don't think I want to bother with getting in there and hitting the monsters that aggressively. I'll focus on boosting the damage of the team. It seems that I do not have a status or raw hunting horn. I don't know what I just did. Vocally, I mean. Alright, I've got another option. How about Blunt Gunlance? I do always enjoy bringing this out. I don't always enjoy using the Gunlance, but this particular Gunlance loadout does give me some considerable pleasure, because you never see people whip out this Gunlance, and this is a set designed to work very well with this Gunlance. It's satisfying. It is satisfying to have a Blade Master set that is designed around one specific weapon. That doesn't obviously disallow the use of other weapons. I could look for other blunt gun lances that might be worth forging. I just seem to recall that there weren't many. There's a handful of blunt gun lancers, you know, elemental ones, for example, that were worth forging, but I haven't taken the time. This is the one that I'm focusing on, and it's good. Now that's very interesting. I saw a guy there using the White Fatalis longsword. Not something that I often see in this game. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure it's a lightning weapon, isn't it? So, or thunder, whatever. It's lightning in 3 ultimate, okay. So it's technically correct. It's canon to say lightning. It is a thunder weapon, but people don't really use it. In this game, I opt for the Zenoga longsword, which is interesting because, as I recall, Zenoga was in 4 ultimate, but in 4 ultimate I chose to use the White Fatalis weapon, so... yeah, I don't know. I don't really remember what my reasoning was there. I would like to get a full combo out, if you wouldn't mind. Nursilla, if you're so kind. I took a hit to do that, but... yeah, it sort of, it equalized the pleasure. And I was left with sort of a neutral feeling. I had the pleasure of getting off my combo, but I had the displeasure of being hit by the monster after a very well-telegraphed attack came out. So I'm going to go for the Wyvern Fire now. I would sooner go for the Wyvern Fire during orange than to waste my time getting up to red and then never actually getting around to using Wyvern Fire. You are getting blast dashed, my friend. And a non-target follow-up shot, I think. It looked on target to me. I am, at this stage, not entirely sure where the Ketchawacha is, but we may find out suddenly, if you know what I mean. Got another blast dash. And that's always satisfying. It should be entirely worthwhile to... hold on, sorry. I need to apologize to 2 people. Where are my shouts? Sorry? Where's sorry? Sorry about that, there we go. Have to scroll through all of my inflammatory remarks to get to the one where I apologize for misconduct or transgression or laziness or... okay. Just trying to find opportunities to attack. That looked a little dangerous. I've got a very silent audience on Twitch today. It's alright, I appreciate your patronage, if that's how I can refer to it, but... yeah, definitely a silent viewer base today. It's alright, you can see how I used to do it in the old days when I used to just talk to myself. I did that for however many years it was, 8 years or something. Yeah, I'm pretty good at literally talking to myself and making it entertaining. It's a good thing to fall back on, I suppose, if you don't have an audience. Some streamers really can't do it. They're just like, well, what's the point of talking if there's no one to talk to? And then that becomes something of a difficulty for them. It's like a muscle that they have to develop. But you see, if you start out as a Let's Player, you just sort of have that expectation that people will watch after the fact anyway, so you are always talking to someone. Perhaps not right then and there in the moment, but you're always talking to someone who's watching. So, you know, you don't need back and forth conversation. In fact, to me, if you are actually reliant on back and forth conversation, I feel that it's impossible to really have a quality live streaming product, because, yeah, audience interaction really is only one facet of a larger presentation that you're giving, at least, you know, if you're doing it well. That's just my opinion, but anyway. The live streaming guru with 5 viewers. Exactly. I don't know whether to pursue the Nursilla up there or just wait patiently. Patience can sometimes be rewarded, but it's unlikely to be rewarded while this monster is dazed, so I will head up there. Oh, yeah, it always happens, guaranteed. Guaranteed. And now they're beating on the Ketchawacha. Which is tempting because, you know, he's giving us opportunities to do so. What the fuck? It was funny timing there because it was it appeared to be the very first frame of my advance forward animation with Blast Dash. So it was a bit silly looking. I do have Dragon Blast available to be used, but unfortunately I have yet to see I haven't yet seen an opportunity to use it. The thing with Dragon Blast is that I would rather not use it at all than use it and miss, because I don't feel bad if I don't use it, but I do feel bad if I miss, so... yeah. What are you doing now? No one is up there. Just for your information, Ursula, nobody is up there, so if you could, you know, be within reach, that would be excellent. I mean, it's not even for Nursula's benefit that she goes up there. I mean, who knows? I'm not very good with spider psychology. It's not actually a strong point of mine. Oh. The fact that I'm not getting flinched more than oh, it's fucking dead, of course. Sorry, the monster moves when it's dead, so I wasn't too sure. At least, at first. Yeah, that's right, you can still deal damage while you can still... yeah, thanks. You just made it 10 times worse by making that noise, didn't you? You can still deal damage while the monster is being mounted, ridiculous as that sounds. That doesn't sound ridiculous, Doomlink, that makes sense. Well, it would, if you were going based purely off some, you know, out of context logic, you know, outside the context of Monster Hunter. But within the context of Monster Hunter, that is illogical. Like, totally, it makes no sense. If there were any desire to balance mounting at all, any desire, they wouldn't have done that. But they did that. It's crazy. It's actually negligent, in my opinion, to have allowed full weapon damage to be possible during a mount, without the monster throwing off the person on the back. I remember being utterly floored when I first found out, because I was told while I was live. I assumed the only change from mounting from Monster Hunter for Ultimate, specifically to the mounting system, not to the amount of mount damage dealt by weapons, just the mounting system itself. I thought the only change had been that you don't get thrown off when your teammates hit the monster, and you can actually, as a member of the team not mounting, see the progress of the mount under the name of the person conducting the mount. That, in my opinion, was already, you know, a change to make mounting better for us as a team. Sort of streamlining it in the sense that team members do not have to, members of your team, people in a group do not have to actually pay attention to the hunt enough to all simultaneously stop attacking when the monster gets mounted. You know, that's no longer important, which to me seemed like dumbing down the process a little bit. But you know, that's fine. Alright, let's streamline it to that extent. Makes sense. Now, it had not crossed my mind whatsoever, you know, not in my wildest fever dreams or psychotic episodes or, you know, narcotic-induced hallucinations would I have imagined that on top of that, they would allow full damage from weapons hitting the monster during the mount. Unbelievable. Just... it's breathtaking in my opinion, but then I remember what they did to 5th gen and then I go, oh, actually no, that's well within Capcom's abilities, or inabilities if we want to phrase it that way. Next person to post will be I really hope that's an acronym, because that's... you know, someone's gonna tell me it's Scandinavian. Oh, no, it's fucking not. It's someone sitting on their keyboard and saying, yep, that's my name. Oh. Nepshi in the chat says, hope your day been as beautiful. I'm reading it as it's written. Hope your day been as beautiful as the sunset reflecting over the ocean while standing in a field of flowers. Well, for the first comment of the live stream, I'd say that's apt. My day has not been that beautiful, but it's been fine. Are we doing this again? No, we're not doing this again. I don't want that shitty greatsword. Maybe you can make other things with the arena ticket, but I'm not really interested. My guess is that they're all going to be along the same lines. Really high negative affinity. It makes more sense to say really high negative affinity than it does to say really low affinity. So, you know, because the implication if you say low affinity is that you have affinity, whereas, you know, negative affinity is not just no affinity, it's negative affinity, so it makes more sense to say high negative affinity. Anyway. Nani-san, that's a nice name. Mika, Rainy. I'm actually looking at the rooms rather than the names, I'm just saying the names. Because I can. This is Daddy's Hub, with Nekoi, Gamiza, and Lee. Daddy's Hub. Are they playing as a pair? Nekoi is not a daddy name unless it's a, you know, cutesy daddy, which is actually slightly more repulsive than a regular daddy, in my opinion. You know, a daddy who has a cute side. It's enough to make your stomach churn. Anyway. Smurp. No. Is that how you read it? Smurp. Yeah. Yeah, it's Smurp. We're going to play with Smurp. He officially has my favorite Generations Ultimate name of 2023. You're a Prowler main. Don't take this personally, but I'm going to show you how I feel about Prowlers. I do this on occasion. I don't do it all the time. But, you know, it has impact. I'd just like to show you. Look at my guild card, and that will tell you how I feel about Prowlers. Now, this is not a joke. This is not me being funny. I didn't do this intentionally. This is a genuine reflection of how I feel about Prowlers. The first time was because I'd never done it before and it was a novelty. The second time and the third time were because I had no choice. I had to actually get certain coins from a Prowler-only arena quest to be able to forge the thing I wanted to forge. And fortunately, I was able to get those coins by using a Prowler twice. So this is also, by the way, a Generations Ultimate, a Generations character carried over into Generations Ultimate. And I had used it the once in Generations. I have only, on one occasion, of my own volition, used a Prowler. Guys! I don't know if that's instant karma or what, but do you know what? It sort of makes that whole rant slightly more entertaining. I'm sure we all witnessed that. We're all in agreement. Oh, Matt left the room. I don't know if that's in protest or what. That's a weird way to protest because it doesn't help my situation, does it? I think we can all be in agreement that there was absolutely no justification or good reason for that departure. The person had between 10 and 15 seconds to notice that I was in the room and not depart, and not enough time had transpired for them to get impatient and leave because they were impatient and were sick of waiting for me. So it was quite obviously not okay what just happened there. It's not up for debate. There's no discussion to be had other than what I would presume to be Yumiko. I could be wrong. I don't think the Hunter rank 999 would be that legendarily simple-minded. But Yumiko evidently is either a complete idiot, extraordinarily disrespectful, or both. So, there you go. Enjoy your two-man. And again, you know, I'd make this point as well whenever I see this. If this is how people react to a Hunter rank 999 joining the room, which is what I am, not to elevate it, or to put that on a pedestal. I make this point for this reason. If that's how I get treated at Hunter Rank 999, imagine people at Hunter Rank 500, or 300, or 85. You know, I mean, this is the point. This behavior is rife, and it's sad. It's really sad. Anyway. Real good for the community, isn't it? To just have no regard for the fact that a fourth person has joined. No, I'm gonna depart now. I've waited long enough, you know, I've been sitting here for 3 minutes, and I've decided that even though this other person's joined, not too bad. I feel like playing now. Bye. Now, the thought process wouldn't be quite that detailed, because to actually make that decision to depart, you likely don't think in as much detail as I just iterated. Like, that is not how they think. That's a summary of what's going on in their head if they were thinking in greater detail. They're actually a bit more, you know, reactionary than that. It's like, R complex, I want pleasure. Me hunt now. Me hunt now. That's the sort of thing that's going on in their head. It's not like, it's not malicious, and it's not even just selfish, it's just a complete lack of cognitive action. It's just, you know, there are vegetables in hospital beds who would be more capable of human interaction online than some of the people that you play with in this fucking game. Mick. I don't know if it's Mitch or Mick or Mish. All the possible pronunciations. Anyway. What would you like to do? Glory, glory, Latrion. Followed by a Chinese message of some description in the chat. I say of some description because I can't really describe it. I don't know what it says. There's nothing that I could possibly use to make a Latrion fun right now. I've explained it before, I don't like fighting a Latrion in this game. Not to the extent where I would, you know, leave the room because it was posted, but I'm not going to enjoy it. I'll be doing it while gritting my teeth. And that's if my jaw doesn't relax due to me falling asleep. But anyway. I'm not interested. I don't like the fight at all in this game. There are only subtle differences between this and the 3rd gen version, but interestingly enough, it's sufficient to completely, you know, ruin the confrontation for me. I don't know what to bring. I don't know what would make it fun. Okay, you've got another person. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna leave. I can't do it. I actually can't bring myself to do it. I said that it wasn't enough for me to leave the room, but I'll tell you why it is this time. I'm already quite emotionally exhausted from what I've had to deal with since I came online here, so, you know, I just don't have the strength anymore. I was in that room before, wasn't I? I can't remember why I left at this stage. I'm living in the moment, shall we say. Dajer 208. That'll be real nice when he's Hunter Rank 208, but after that it's going to be a pointless 3-digit number again. Oh, he's already gone past 208. Some time ago, it looks like. What's going on with you? You've got some nice baggy pants. What are they called? They are called Kita Star Hakama. Fair enough. Hello, says player 1. Player 2 says hi. And that's about as much interaction as you get in this game. because there is no ability to... well, you can plug in a USB keyboard if you want, but I've explained this before, I will explain it again. For some reason, my Logitech wireless keyboard doesn't work on the Switch, but it works on the console that came before it. This guy went and sharted on the quest board by posting a high-ranked deviant, which, as you all know, I've just spent this whole recording talking about how I don't like this or I don't like that. I apologize for the negativity, but really, in my defense, I didn't really want to play this game today. I just had no choice. I just hope that you take it as something to be entertained by rather than, you know, take it as me being super negative. You know, don't take it that seriously. Just enjoy it for what it is, I guess is what I would say. But I will endeavor to clean up the negativity at least a little bit, okay? Because at a certain point it does become excessive. Ugh. What should I use? Maybe Greatsword, that would make it fun. But what Greatsword? How about Water Greatsword? I never bring out a Water Greatsword, do I? I think I've got the Ketchawacha Greatsword and that's probably it. I've got an unupgraded... what's it called? Nibble Snarf. Always got to say Hapuraboka. Where is it? Ketchawacha Greatsword, hello. Where are you? That's it, I'm using the Martyr. I never use the Martyr. Which is my set with Sharpness +1. It's one of these. It's this one. Sorry. I always say Sharpness +1 defaultly because you couldn't get +2 for so long. Where's Martyr? There's Martyr. Is that the one that I... No, I usually use the Toyohisa sword and I can see why, actually. Yeah, you know what? Let's use the other set with Martyr. I never use Martyr these days. Never, never, never. When was the last time you guys saw me use this weapon? It's a pretty good weapon. There's nothing wrong with it, I just keep forgetting to use it. Well, the thing with Latreon is that he was basically a perfect fight in Tri and Portable Third, and then they fucked him up a little bit in 3 Ultimate, but it was okay because you could experience the G-Rank version, which was pretty fun. But in this game, it's just not... It's not okay. Part of it is that you fight him in a location where you fight so many other monsters in this game. It's not a special place like the Sacred Ground or whatever it was called. And he's in the air way too much in this game. And yeah, pretty much those two things is enough to just make it unpleasant for me. They sound like small complaints. I guess the first being the smallest of the two. But they are honestly enough to make it unpleasant. So. What the hell? It's the first time I've been poisoned by a Remobra since, I don't know, 2010. I'm joking, more like 2012. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing things. This is my critical draw loadout, and yet I'm almost going out of my way to not make use of it. Come on. You needn't do it all the time, but at least go for the critical draw. If you're going to take the time... Anyway, if you're going to take the time to actually use the loadout, at least go for it. Got it in your neck. Or if I was lucky in the damage calculations, your head. Factoring in, of course, the... well, what I assume to always be a factor. The... lag compensation, there you go. Couldn't think of what it was. He's gone for a second one. Oh, that was brilliant timing. You had probably less than half a second left before we all got hit there. Well, those who were unprepared, anyway. I don't have enough white sharpness to really shield things, but I'd rather shield than not. Ugh. Just need to get out of the range of that, the starting point of that swing. Yeah! Managed to get that on the tail. I was banking on that. I don't mind the joust. I suppose I lost the joust in the end because I was the one who got knocked back, but the point is that I managed to hit him and that was nice. I like exchanges like that, as long as it's not too much damage sustained by me. I'll settle for a level 1 here. I'm happy to settle for something rather than nothing, you know. That's the dance of greatsword. It's the subtlety of a greatsworder. It's finding the time to just settle for a level 1 instead of going for the level 2 and getting nothing, you know. Quite happy to go for a mount. Miku's going for one as well. Can't quite reach. There will be other opportunities. Time for a dive. No follow-up this time. I don't know if there is a way to predict the follow-up. Whether it only occurs when enraged or what. Don't know. We'll go for Moonbreaker soon. But for now I'll settle for regular damage. Let's go for a level 3 here because he might. Yeah. Sometimes it's actually advantageous to go for a level 3 when you begin your charge. And the monster ends up being out of range immediately. You can sort of hope for the monster to close the distance again by the time your sword comes down with a level 3 charge. But didn't quite happen that time. That guy just fucked up the mount, which is sad because we both worked towards that. And in the end, it was all for nothing. But we needn't take it too seriously because it's high ranks. I'm pretty sure all of us are G rank levels, so whatever allows this to be a substantial hunt as opposed to a beatdown is really something I should welcome. You can see how far I have to run before I'm really in position now. You sort of judge your positioning based on the position of the legs rather than the body, because the body can really swing around and end up out of your range when you actually get your sword out. But if you position yourself near the legs, there's a higher chance you'll be in the right spot. Oh my god, my poor sharpness. That's the second time now we've had a significant knockdown during that follow-up. That's brilliant. Nice work, team. I like this team. I won't praise their efforts too feverishly, because if you think about it, we're a G-rank team beating on a high-rank monster, so yeah. And he's dead. Still felt kind of fun though. You've gone to some considerable effort to be uncarvable, but still we are able to carve, which is good. Not sure why you call him Hell-chan Glavenus. I suppose it's an expression of affection for the monster, or a belittling nickname, one of the two. Time to mine for no reason in particular. It's for something to do, I suppose. Well, can get some money from coal. I'm very much in need of money in this game. I simply never have enough of it. Alright. We've got a Glavenus Fire Orb, that's my 36th. We've got a Glavenus Plate. Tells you everything when... Well, actually it doesn't tell you everything when I say that I've only got 10 plates, in this case 11, and a whole lot of Fire Orbs. It's probably because the plates are high rank only and I never fight this monster in high rank. That's probably more likely to be the case. Oh, I actually thought I was at max money in this game. It turns out that I'm not. I guess I must have spent it all on gold eggs just to reduce the number. Actually, no, that's... I spend Horns coins on gold eggs, so... I can't remember how I... Oh, that's what I do. So I buy Horns coins with money, and then I get rid of them by getting golden eggs. It sounds like a bit of an endless cycle, doesn't it? But strangely enough, it works. What's going on? Darjay's like, hold on, guys. What are you doing? There's nothing in here that suggests that actually any of you get a turn. This is my room. I mean, I'd be okay with that. But the guy's hunter rank 756. You'd think he would have the decency to let a hunter rank 9 post their quest. A hunter rank 9! Alright, so now he's decided that it's my turn. Dickhead, skip me. Are you for real? Now you're going to confuse the hell out of Miku. Because, I don't know, you either forgot that you posted the last quest, which is hard to actually believe. And, yeah, now you've basically caused Miku to not post a quest. Miku is taking the time to change their loadout to suit your quest, and now you've been like, oh, actually you can post. After having given me the chance to post first at hunter rank 999. So we had the hunter rank 757, and then the hunter rank 999 given the opportunity to post before the hunter rank 9. The poor guy, he just wants to play the game. God. He just wants Ludroth, standard Ludroth, bless his heart. God. Anyway, that's just really funny to me. I suppose in the end, you know, would it have been more discourteous to skip me without giving me the opportunity to skip? Perhaps, but I don't know. There's no coming back from, you know, posting a second time in quite a flagrant disregard for the guy who's literally the first rank of G rank in the game versus himself and myself. Standard G rank Royal Ludroth. Well, I know what I will equip for this. It's going to be the legendary Garo sword. This is what I use if I just want a pretty looking sword that's not max effectiveness. What is that lance that he's using? That's what it was. I remember it from 2nd gen, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Alright, let's go. Don't get too excited. I bet he double tapped A to depart and was like, oh, it didn't work. Thank God it didn't work. But yeah, I love the design of this sword. Now has exited the game. Maybe it was because we didn't depart with the immediacy that would have been required of a person named Now, because obviously the suggestion is that we need to hunt now, as opposed to when we're ready to hunt. Now. Maybe he's gone to go and play Monster Hunter now. That's possible. He could have been playing Monster Hunter now, as in playing with us right now, but he's decided to play Monster Hunter now instead. And you know what? To each their own. Is that game even out? I don't think it is. I think it was just announced, and I hope everyone's been making fun of it. That would be the ideal. Really? You're going to hit me with the tail from that position? Unbelievable. You can see that this Ludroth's moving pretty fast as well. Anything to at least present a challenge of some kind. I actually prefer to have a smaller team under these circumstances. Uh-oh. So Miku just used a Hunter Art. I believe that's Enraged Guard. And Miku's message for it was, "Angels empower me." Now I don't know if that's a statement or a request. If there were a comma, perhaps one would assume it were a request, but... Uh-oh, his other one is demons empower me. You know, sometimes there's reading material that you don't really need to read, and then there's other times when there's reading material that you would rather not read, and to be honest, that... You know, the latter example would be... Oh, here we go. The third one is Open Zodiac Gate Leo. What the fuck are you referencing? It sounds awful. It sounds like a cartoon for, you know, very young children. I don't mean like 10-year-olds. I mean fucking like a 5-year-old's first action cartoon, you know? I'm sorry, I don't know what it's actually referring to, but that's bad. Like, that hurts. That's just a slight step above watching a guy in 3 Ultimate not that long ago. It was probably about a year and a half ago now. You know, without any shame or reservation, sending, not automatically, but manually sending in the chat, Naruto shouts. Like, Rasengan, Rasen Shuriken, and all of his business. I just sort of sunk into my chair and went, oh my god. You know. Getting the sweats. On behalf of that guy, that Naruto man. Probably not a man, but the point is that... yeah. If you don't like the fact that I I comment on those things, let me give you the reason why. I do... Look, a lot of things that I rant about more than once. Sometimes it's good to repeat a point, but this is a point that I repeat all the time. Don't clutter the chat with dumb shit, okay? Or perhaps I shouldn't tell you not to. I'll tell you why I'd rather people not to. I'm not going to say, don't do it, because you can do whatever the hell you want. It's your online experience. The reason why I don't like people cluttering the chat with useless information like that is because the chat used to actually be a place to communicate. Because in online Monster Hunter, you know, PS2 Monster Hunter, and in Monster Hunter Tri, and in 3 Ultimate on the Wii U, the chat was a place to, you know, communicate meaningfully in a hunt. And it wasn't just shit like, you know, auto shouts that give you no information whatsoever. Like, why have an auto shout for using a Hunter Art? Why? No one needs to know that. It makes sense to have an auto shout for placing a bomb or placing a trap or whatever, but Hunter Art? Why? That was not a good idea. What it does is it demeans a text space which should be either informative or involved with communication between hunters. It's just people having fun doing it. Well, that's fine, I get that, but I guess my frustration ultimately comes from the way that we can't chat during hunts anymore. And now that functionality has been replaced with auto shouts for using Hunter Arts. You know, that's the full picture of my grievance. You know, that's why I take issue with it. It's not just the fact that it exists on its own, it's that it's sort of replaced meaningful interaction. That's why I don't like it. It's really a bit too much. Now this guy can continue with his Hellblade Glavinus, but I've had enough. Quite frankly, I've very much had enough. I don't want to do Adalkar, but believe me when I tell you, I'd rather do Adalkar than a Latrion. Which is, you know, that's a lot to say. That's not a minor comment. That's not comparing chocolate cake with excrement. That's comparing, like, sewage with a dead rat soaking in acid. So... I don't know. Arathian. We've got a few people at low hunter ranks at the moment. Bless his heart, Alfie is using the Dragon Slayer with health plus 20. Now that's a very... You know, I can't say Monster Hunter trying to... Oh. I love big booby men. Well, they're obviously friends, but to start with, if any of you wanted to know what the... wait, hold on. I bet they're all friends, too. I mean, this is what the new community of Monster Hunter looks like. You guys wanted to see the... You know, the passing of the baton, or the changing of the guard. That's it, everyone. It's gone from the fucking idiots I was playing with before to that. That's the evolution, everyone. That right there is the fucking evolution. You've just witnessed it. Happy days. Don't worry, everyone. The future of the Generations Ultimate community is in safe hands. You can all confirm that with your own eyes. Alright, now... It's Rathian. Let's not make it overly complicated, let's just... Dual blades. And whatever fun dragon dual blade loadout I can... conjure up. Fatalis dual blades, so... Blunt dual blades with Fatalis dual blades. What? But that starts at play sharpness, Doomlink. You'll work it out. Don't worry. You'll work it out. Weakener. Not that that's really necessary. Let's just go for attack, whatever. Get Feline Groomer. I just can't help but see the word groomer in a different light. Queen of the Ruined Pinnacle. You know what? I'd guarantee... I just thought about this, but... I'd guarantee that they removed Feline Groomer from 5th gen. Like, I bet it's not in it. In fact, I'm going to do a Google search right now. I've just got an inkling. I'm going to type Feline Groomer into Google, and we're going to see if anything 5th gen related comes up. Oh, okay. I stand corrected, the Japanese don't give a shit. This just in, everyone, the Japanese don't give a shit, and quite frankly, that's a good thing. I'm not saying that, you know, it's a good thing to promote grooming of any kind. Well, grooming, like if you know, it's good to brush your hair. It's good to practice good hygiene, but you know, that other kind of grooming is not good, and I'm glad that we haven't gone so far as to associate it with something like, you know, that kind of grooming, which is good. Yeah, I didn't mean to put it on Capcom and say, oh, look at Capcom, they're insensitive. It was actually, like, I'm actually glad that it's still in the series. Oh, dear. What are these people doing? They're having a chat outside of playing the game, I know it. And Alfie has left the... Did you kick this person? Hold on, so... Okay, no, it turns out that Alfie is the outsider. The two friends, definitely... I thought it might have been a group of 3. But it seems to be closer to just Alia and... Oh no, are they friends? Maybe Alfie got kicked because he didn't make a comment along the lines of I'm coming or I love big boomy men. Maybe if he said, I don't know, segs or something like that. Just repeatedly typed segs in the chat. Maybe they'd let him stay. Guys, can we please just do something? I don't care if you people are having a chat. I would like to play the game. Don't have the guy who wants to play the game get kicked just because he wants to play the game. You know, if you've got something better to post, put it on the board. I'm not party to whatever degenerate conversation you're having outside of this game. I'm here to play, so, you know, put something on the board. It doesn't have to be done swiftly, but, you know, within a reasonable time would be ideal. And I would, you know, I would say that this is not within a reasonable time. Akis has posted something, because, you know, far be it from Alfie to decide to post something when these two people fucking stand there doing nothing, sending in the chat, "I'm coming and I love big booby men." Fuck's sake. Alright, so... I mean, they actually kicked Alfie for doing that. You know, that was a kickable... Okay, now that's a kickable offense. Okay, now that's a kickable offense, you know. If he hasn't gotten it at this point, he's a slow learner. I'm happy to concede that. He's a slow learner. It's time to get it off the board, Alfie. You've got 5 seconds before you get kicked again, and I'm not the host, okay? So... what's happened to this community? Well, whatever. I'd better get something organized before I miss the quest. He got kicked again. He was given 15 seconds rather than 5. They're probably too busy. They were far too engrossed in their discussion to notice that Alfie had done that, so... That's why he was there for 15 seconds with his post. His quest posted on the board for as long as it was. Alright, so let's bring something appropriate for this quest. How about, you know, Pierce Water? Let's do that. Pierce Water. I don't know what the fuck to bring. This is if they don't depart without me, of course. I'm always... Oh yeah, that's right. It's this fucking thing. Oh, they did depart without me. Again... I was about to say, I always allow for that possibility. I always allow for that possibility. Can I just say, you know, you guys are on camera. This is not a malicious thing. This is a public service. If you see these two people, don't play with them. They are a pair of not just degenerate folk. They are also dangerously stupid. Dangerously stupid. So, just avoid them if you can. We've got Tyrant screaming about doing Bloodbath G5. He's got Joker and Rukov in his room. Unfortunately, I don't want to actually do Bloodbath. I will change my refined results to a slightly less refined search. G-rank progress with... Hold on, let me figure out how to pronounce this. Why would you hit 3 lions? Hitting 1 lion, quite frankly, is already asking for it. But to hit 3 of them, that really is a foregone conclusion. That's the only interpretation I can get out of that. If it means something else, I've got no fucking idea. Howl at the Moon. This is presumably a key quest. He is using Beyond the Firmaments or some kind of... Or perhaps he's not. Maybe it's the standard one, is it? Yeah, Kingdom Fall. There you go. It's the standard Mizutsune bow. Very good. The golden question. What would make this quest fun? Charge Blade. I've rotated through so many different weapon types without actually hunting anything. It's great, isn't it? You don't actually have to use the weapon, it turns out, to successfully rotate through weapons. You think it's a white lion, okay. You think so? White light. Okay, a Y instead of a W. You know what? That's fairly insightful. I think you're correct, and I would not have picked that up on my own. Thank you, P-Berry. Alright, well, actually, do I want to be Link or no? No, I don't want to be Link right now. I'm always Link, but in-game, I mean. I will use... what? Oh, no, he's saying hello to the third person, Oboro. Okay, this is the danger zone, you know. We've already got another person who's about to ready up. I need to make sure that I get ready before I get to part of that. You don't need to worry about that, Doomlink. You're Hunt Rank 999. Well, I would beg to differ on that point. I'd beg to differ. In fact, I wouldn't beg. I assert my right to differ on that specific point. Ice. Oboro and Oryx. I'm going to assume that a triple X has a sexual connotation. Most people wouldn't see that to be some kind of erotic name, but I think that's the intention. I don't trust that anyone these days is quite so innocent that they would put triple X in their name and not have the intention of it to evoke some kind of sexual thought in the person reading it. Yes, I am Doomlink, not Link, so I do forget these things. I make that mistake all the time. I suffer from regular identity crises. Oh, fuck off. Look at this. Let's do this and ready. Not just one, but 2 messages asking me to join within the space of what? 5 seconds? 5 seconds. Look at him go. Mate, that guy is more eager to hunt than a person enforcing a no more gaming curfew with a gun. I need to rephrase that sentence for it to work grammatically, but you understand my point. He is so excited, he doesn't even know where to begin with himself. He's like, I'm so ready to hunt, what am I doing? Oh my god, there's a box, a blue box, there's a teammate. Oh my god, I'm gonna look for the monster now. That's how I interpret that person. He is both unhinged and also weird. Yeah, he's definitely unhinged. No, Doomlink is just the hyperactive kids these days, you know, they're constantly getting that stimulation from all their technology. All those endorphins. That's just what the kids are like now. They're high on life. Or rather, the life that has been programmed for them for their entertainment. They're constant and, might I add, uninterrupted entertainment. I think of all the... it's kind of... I'm not going to get on this topic for very long because it might make me sound like an old fogey, but, you know, all the discussions in, you know, times gone by about, you know, the brain rot of watching television for kids and all that. I don't know, like... Obviously, when you were that kid, having to listen to that shit, you were just like, oh, whatever. But, you know, the brain rot of sitting on a phone as a child and being exposed to all the shit that they're exposed to, you know, on TikTok or whatever. I mean, that's fucking brain rot. But then you end up sounding like the people who'd say, oh, you sit and watch television all day, you know. So, it's just that weird moment where it goes full circle and you become that person, and you start to wonder about the legitimacy of the comments that had been made back then. And of course they were legitimate. The concerns were legitimate. Let's not talk about whether or not that's legitimately damaging to a... Why am I double red shielding? I need to pay attention to my play. But, yeah, of course, like, you know, fixation on the television or anything that distracts from reality as a child will probably, you know, cause some sort of, you know, detriment. But I suppose it's only worsened over time. At what point does it cross a threshold where it's just too much? I'd say we're probably getting to that point where it's too much, but I might be biased. There's always that possibility as well. And that's the fascinating part. How much of it is bias and how much of it is just crossing the threshold into unacceptability? Don't know. I will actually recharge my files now. Because I'm at yellow. And now I'm at red. So now I have actually wasted that. At least partially. Not entirely, but certainly partially. Oh, ay, ay, ay. White Lion has fainted. Or sorry, Y hit 3 Lion. I prefer Y hit 3 Lion. It's a good question. It's a... it's introspective, you know? Like, let's consider... Let's put ourselves in that situation and ask ourselves, you know, why would we hit 3 lions? For what purpose would we engage in such an activity? Now, the erotic guy has fainted. I mean, this is, let us remind the audience, who are the only people listening to me. It's not the people playing, it's the audience. This is a standard Zinogre, not a Viper, but a standard Zinogre. But I suppose I should remind myself that there are, you know, people in low-level G rank playing here, so it is still a challenge for them. I haven't checked their loadouts, so perhaps... Oh, did not intend for that. It broke something, but I didn't intend for an upswing there. If I ever do an upswing with a charge blade, you can bet your bottom dollar it was a mistake. Oh. Oh, that was a very short charging up of the Zinogre. I can't imagine he built up much charge at all there. I feel like energy blading you. I'm sure it was effective. And he's about to limp. And he's not about to limp, actually. I do forget that I'm probably the only one dealing very high damage. Regrettably, White Lion is not dealing the primarily effective. Let me rephrase that. He is not using the primarily effective element against this monster. I don't know what water is like against Zinogre. I don't even think it would be a secondary. I could be wrong. It's probably more likely to be a tertiary weakness. I can see that coming from space. I should not have continued into that swing. I was not immediately... I did not immediately suffer ramifications for that poor decision, but... they did come. And they were deserved. I would like to focus this on the face, but of course the big wide swings of this attack make it hard. I did manage to get that on target. We could actually get a KO here if... no. That was not sustained enough, unfortunately. But of course, for anyone who is adept with the Charge Blade, learned in its use, and adroit in the execution of the various maneuvers of the weapon, they will know that it's actually very good at KOing monsters. And it looks like we did get a KO by the time I finished that very long, drawn-out sentence. And we've got an exhausted monster. See, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say it was a sesquipedalian sentence, but every time I want to use that word, it doesn't come. It's like, where is it with... oh yeah, sesquipedalian, that's what it is. Oh, It's just one of those words that I can never conjure up. It's like... Oh. Oh, no. He made not one but 2 attempts to do that. It may have even been 3. Depends how much I was paying attention. Oh, what am I doing? I've got nothing to recharge. Oh, I don't know if that was me or if it was the guy mounting. I did not keep track of the timing. It probably was the guy mounting because he was exhausted, he being the Zenogre, so that would have reduced the length of time it would have taken to achieve a successful mount. White Lion has apologized for something. He did charge. He charged, I think, twice. It, you know, became enraged, in other words. That did happen. The Jaggi are fascinated and also frightened. They say that it is not just the fight or flight that are your options when it comes to instinct. There is a third one, and that is to freeze. Those monsters, instead of fighting or fleeing, chose to freeze. And that is the worst thing to do. And so those Jaggis died for their poor handling of the situation. I have not been keeping track of this room. It's because I've joined so many different rooms that okay, I think that was the first quest of this room, so... I don't know if the plan is for this to be a Turns room. I do hope that it is. Not for my benefit, of course, but for the benefit of Oboro and Oryx. No, it's not your turn. It's not a... Good. It's not first come, first serve. It's, it's in descending order. That's what civilized people do. If you have yet to learn that, you would not be faulted for your slow learning, because this community is far from well-mannered. It is obviously for White Lion to be coordinating the team here. He is the room host. No, Oryx, stop. I know you think that because Oboro isn't here, oh, he's here now! Alright, White Lion. It is incumbent upon you to... Okay, good. Good. There was no need for White Lion to step in. There was a natural restoration of order, as asserted by Oboro. It's his turn. These guys are early G rank, but they understand the nature of the business. Alright. So what's going on? Thank you, says Oboro. You needn't thank us. Really, we're behaving in a seemly fashion. This is the way things should be done. You know, it would be unfair for White Lion, having made a room called G-Rank Progress, to deny that progress to those joining the room. And it would be unfair for me to do a quest, that's for certain, under these circumstances. So, what was the quest posted? It was another standard hunt, can't remember which one now. I'll use Insect Glaive and, I guess, paralysis insect glaive, which I do not often use. When was the last time you saw me use a paralysis insect glaive? I challenge you to tell me when I last used it. Would have been a long time ago. Would have been back when I actually had an armor set dedicated to this weapon. Believe it or not, I actually had an armor set dedicated to status insect glaive. Shocking as it might sound. That was back in 2018. Before I had filled all of my armor set slots and started to purge the sets that honestly sucked, or not sucked, but the ones that were of low priority to remain registered. I get it. It's probably... oh no. No, it's literally ice recovery. They're asking us to recover ice. You know how all of the quest titles are some kind of pun or play on words? Well, I thought ice recovery was meant to be like, nice recovery, but actually no, it was literally the recovering of ice. Ice recovery. Nope. I know it's not good, but pretty much all of the quest titles are dad joke level. So... and I happen to like dad jokes. I think dad jokes are kind of funny in their own way. They sort of give you a wry smile, and they're funny not because the jokes themselves are funny, but they're funny in that they were told in the first place, and that's its own form of humour. But the quest titles in this game are just devoid of all value. I just don't think they're clever, funny, or... have I been pinned again? The monster's got me, says Lord Zor in the chat. I'm tempted to let you continue slamming me around. I don't often see you pin people. I'd actually forgotten that Gammoth could do that. Whatever you're doing, it's scaring me. Seeing a giant mammoth standing on its hind legs for that length of time is enough to wet the pants of, you know, probably every Neanderthal of the Ice Age. There we go. There's our mount. I don't actually know the Gammoth music. I never have my game volume that loud, and I don't watch enough of my Generations Ultimate recordings back to actually remember what this theme sounds like. I'm taking this paralysis as an opportunity to get some colours. Very easy to get your colours with this monster, I think you'll find. I hope I am the only one using paralysis, by the way. It would be a total waste with this team to have two people using paralysis, in my opinion. But I guess no matter what, with me on the team, it's better to use something that's suboptimal rather than min-maxed. Is it suboptimal to use this insect glaive? Probably not. It's low raw damage, but no matter what, for a group of 4, paralysis is very helpful. And something that the team can exploit to great effect. Oh, fuck off. Here we go. Oryx has fainted again. Try not to do that, my friend. You'll find you'll make more money if you don't. And money is power in the early game. No, he's not trapped. My dear boy, he's not trapped. Ugh. How many tranks was that for a paralyzed monster? If you think about it though, it makes sense for paralysis to allow for tranking. I mean, what's the difference if you think about it? The monster is stuck in place, but yeah. Because if you've tranquilized the monster, it doesn't matter if it's in a trap or not, that's the point. It's just one of those, what's going on? He's sleeping. Notice that I was barely paying attention and I still stopped in time. The guy with the bow had no hope, I suppose. That's the thing. It doesn't actually make sense to me that people can hit monsters out of sleep, because an instinct ingrained within me, and I suppose it's from, you know, doing sleep bombing from a very early stage in my monster hunting career, not just personally, but participating in sleep bombing runs, it is to, on instinct, stop and watch what the monster's doing if I see a change of animation, or if I see it doing something weird. You know, something that doesn't seem to be a knockdown or an attack. You know, if I see it doing something odd, I will step back and watch and observe. Whereas other people, they don't do that. They're sort of, they're not observing while they're playing. They're just mashing those buttons and watching their character flail around and hit the thing, you know. I don't mean to be unkind to such people, but to me, if you hit a monster out of its sleeping animation, you're actually not watching the monster, and if you're not watching the monster, like, what are you doing? Being a casual monster hunter player, I guess, which sadly is what I call myself, but I guess there is a distinction between myself and a casual hunter. I am... It's like how you've got the consumer level, and then you've got the professional level of goods purchasing, but then you've also got a midway point called prosumer. I guess I am the gaming equivalent of a prosumer in Monster Hunter. I'm not professional, but I'm at the higher end of, you know, being casual. And I am casual. I hope you all agree. I do not go into hunts. Like, I think the fact that I never use traps and never use flash bombs or sonic bombs shows that I'm a casual. Like, I don't care. I never bring life powders. I never... You know, there were a lot of things that I couldn't be bothered doing anymore in Monster Hunter. I think that's very clear. But, yeah. I guess what makes it look as if I'm not casual is that I don't countenance people failing to do the bare minimum. I have what I imagine in my head to be the bare minimum of what's acceptable, and when I see people not able to do that, then I start to grill them. And because I grill people at all, people are like, well, you're not a casual, Doomlink, how could you be a casual? That's not how casuals behave. But I don't know, I think it is. I think it can be, and I think I'm an example of that, maybe. Because I've had that. I've had people say, like, why are you grilling people, Doomlink? Some people don't take the game as seriously as you do. And I'm sitting here going, well, I didn't think I took the game seriously, but I suppose, comparatively speaking, I do. But I still consider myself to be a casual. I always will. Oh god! Look, it's not my quest, so I'm not really in a position to be frustrated. I guess I'm frustrated for them. You know, they've fought this monster Not in 1 rank of Monster Hunter, not in 2 ranks, but in 3 ranks. You know, by the time you get to G rank, I'm sorry, but it doesn't cut it when you're dying like this to a Gammoth. It just doesn't. Like, unless you're really ill-prepared, and I don't think they are. I'm going to double-check their loadouts if they don't leave before I can inspect them. But, like, come on. It's not hyper, and it's level appropriate for you. What is your loadout? I mean, he says, I'm sorry. When he goes to the trouble of saying, I'm sorry, to me that shows genuine contrition, but the point is that, and whether or not that's necessary if he's doing his best is up for debate. Like, does he need to show remorse? Like, I don't think there was any misconduct here. He was just, I think he could have done a little better, but whatever. It's just, it sucks for all 3 of these guys that they just failed that. That's wasted time. And it would be for all of their benefit to get that quest done, but yeah. This guy, however, he needs to stop ranking up and start getting some armor. Oboro has left. It is what it is. I'm happy to stay here and keep helping them because who the fuck would, you know? Am I helping them by, you know, bringing high-end G-rank stuff? You could say that I am. Or you could say that I'm carrying them, but I don't think it's carrying them when they still fail. So, yeah, that's my position. I'll use my Link loadout. Can I change the colors of this to make it dark Link? I probably can, can't I? That'd be cool. Should do that. I'll make him wait. I bet I can. Why have I never considered doing this before? What's wrong with me? Gotta make it dark Link. Now, what are the red accents gonna be, do you reckon? We can make these red. Yeah, that's a good red. So you want sort of, you're probably closer to this black. It's not really black, is it? But yeah, that's actually the perfect thing. It's not black, but it's more of a dark grey. And that's what Dark Link is. He's more of a dark grey. Yeah. Oh, what a shame. The boots sort of ruin it, don't they? See, it just doesn't look quite right. It's not the boots, it's the leggings. The pants. That's a shame. It doesn't look quite right, does it? Because it's those fucking pants. If I could make those pants dark grey, that would work. I can change my hair colour, I'm sure, but like, what a shame. Maybe I can't change my hair colour. Oh well. No Dark Link for you. At least you can say I've tried. Or just be traditional Link, that's fine. Time for heroics. No. That's not going to be happening. I actually need to go and purchase some more cool drinks while I have noticed that I am lacking cool drinks. Because I don't think departing on a quest with only one drink of whatever is required to resist the environmental impacts of the locale is acceptable. I think you need at least 2. And sometimes even 2 won't account for your death. Like, let's imagine you've used 1 of 2, you die within 3 minutes of the quest, and then you drink another, and then the quest goes on for another 15 minutes. Well, maybe 10 minutes, or something like that. But then you do end up running out of drinks under circumstances. Under circumstances like that, you would run out of drinks fairly easily, so... yeah. That's why you bring 3 to 5. At all times. Always bringing 5 sort of allows you to get by if you do forget to double check your drinks anyway. That's the important part. Stop it. I think we all are capable of tracking monsters at this stage of the game. I don't care if you're HR 9. It can be done. If you ping one more time, I'm gonna fucking lose it. It's not the same guy. Before it was Argonaut, I think, but now it's Oryx. I mean, that's... to say that's unnecessary is an understatement. We all know where the monsters are. I'm engaging this one, and you guys are engaging that one. It is a known fact that the monsters are in Area 5, and in whatever area you're in, so stop pinging, for God's sake. I find Macau to be quite intense. He's a very cool starting monster. He's a very good Great Jaggy equivalent. I say Great Jaggy because I don't like saying Velocidrome equivalent, because there's so many different color variations to Velocidrome, each with their own names. It makes more sense to say Great Jaggy to me. Great Jaggy variant. And I see more similarities between this monster and Great Jaggy than, say, this monster and Velocidrome, at any rate. So. I just love the irregularity of the movements, and the detail of the attack patterns of Great Macau. I was very impressed with him. As a first impression, when playing Monster Hunter Generations for the first time, this was a great monster to fight. I was very impressed. I was filled with hope for the game, and quite frankly, I did enjoy the game. It's just I couldn't reconcile the fact that it was on 3DS. That was too much for me. That really frustrated me a lot. But yeah, Macau, really the only thing that makes Macau an easy hunt is that he doesn't deal much damage and he doesn't have much health. I think as a hunt, really, he's quite dynamic and can present something of a challenge if you don't have a decent loadout. It definitely presents a big challenge to someone who's new. Like, if you're just a point and shoot kind of person, figuratively speaking, in Monster Hunter, like, I'm getting hit. And mostly because I don't remember how to fight him, but sometimes, well, usually with a starting monster, even if you don't remember how to fight them, it's just not a problem. You can kill it without getting hit quite easily, but you know, there's a lot going on here. He doesn't move in a unidirectional fashion, and what I mean is when he pursues you without doing an attack, when he's just walking towards you, he walks diagonally towards you. He will just magnetize to you, and that's actually quite intimidating as a new player. It's like, oh shit, I can't get away from this thing. I can't, you know, keep walking to the right and then he misses me. He has aligned his trajectory to my trajectory and is closing the distance fast. I mean, that's, for a new player, that's pretty intense. See, I've gotten used to that follow-up there. That follow-up tricked me a few times. Wasn't ready for it. Wasn't expecting it. But, yeah, very cool. I love this monster. Definitely one of the best starting monsters of the series. I can't actually think of a better starting monster than this guy. Unless you include hunts like Kurapeko in starting monsters, which You could almost count Kurapeko as a starting monster, but... in fact, yeah, I suppose you have to, don't you? Yeah, I can't remember my first experience with Macau. I only remember, not in terms of difficulty, I remember it in terms of being very impressed with how dynamic a monster he was and how fluid and how complicated the movements were, but I don't remember it being intimidating or difficult, I guess because, you know, I was a seasoned hunter when I first fought this monster, so you're not going to be intimidated or presented with a huge challenge by a monster like this if you've played a lot of Monster Hunter, but still, like, yeah, I was very impressed. Very impressed. These guys aren't even going to get to see him, but they've obviously fought him before to get to this point, so I'm not that concerned. Yeah, so when I say that the monster moves with irregularity, that was in reference to the diagonal forward movements, and I say it's irregular because it's unpredictable. I don't think it's actually irregular. I think there is a pattern to the way the monster moves, and a logic to it. But that's how I decided to describe it at the time. I would amend that and just say that... See, okay, that's irregular, that's scary. But, you know, can a monster be irregular, really? Like, I suppose there's a level of predictability to every monster if you've fought it enough times. There's a pattern there that can be learned. And he's done. Go away! Get a life. This Conga is in full Monster Hunter DOS mode. Unbelievable. Have you ever seen a Conga so aggressive before? But yeah, Viva la Great Macau. What a monster. Sort of, I guess what Macau is, it's an expression of how much Capcom has learnt from, let's say, Monster Hunter 1 to now. Which is very cool if you think about it. I mean, if you just load up Monster Hunter 1 and fight a Velocidrome, and then you fight the equivalent, I mean, shocking, really. Just actually breathtaking as a comparison in terms of the fight. And I don't give a fuck what kind of purist you are, what kind of blinkers you have put on yourself as a traditional hunter who will not touch anything beyond 2nd gen, and in some cases 1st gen as well. There are purists who don't really go beyond 1st gen. I've seen them and talked to them. They do exist. I don't think those people would sit there and say Velocidrome is the better hunt. I just don't believe it. I don't believe such a person exists. I don't think there is anything about that monster that's better. So the point is that it's an interesting way to see how Capcom has progressed in designing monsters. Very cool. So we did lose the other lower ranked person, but now we've got Argonaut. Which is good, because if you think about it, this room is called G rank progress, so I would actually prefer to be the one higher ranked person in here, and instead have the other slots be for people who need to increase their hunter rank. That's actually better for the community than having, let's say, one person getting boosted by a group of 3 high-end G rank Or endgame G rank, depending on how you want to describe that. Let me rephrase that with proper English, actually. Not to be pedantic. It's better to have one person actually assisting a group of 3 other lower ranked people than having one person being assisted by 3 endgame G ranked people. So, yeah. And then there's I think there's a level of acceptability to having 2 higher ranked people helping 2 lower ranked people, but this is the best scenario right here. This is it. Argonaut is presenting his massive girth to me. He's like, look at me, and how unreasonably gigantic I am. If I'm Link, that guy's a Goron. He's made of stone and he's huge. So, that's my take on that. Oh, goodness me. Choose carefully, I suppose, is what I would say. Trade dispute. I'm actually having more fun doing these quests than the quests people put up in the HR13 Plus rooms. Much more fun. They're pretty standard, but I don't, you know, I can use basic loadouts, nothing too fancy, just fun loadouts that could be better. Like, what's a weird weapon that I never use? I never use Anamnesis. I used to read that as Anemesis because I guess it's easier to fill in the blanks. You know, if you know anything about psychology, you tend to go for recognition before interpretation. So you see a word like that and you just sort of default to something that makes sense to you before you actually read it. So I've read that as Anemesis in the past, but this time I decided to read it properly to make sure I got it right. And yeah, it's Anamnesis, which obviously is more awkward to say and doesn't really cohere with known conventions of the English language, so it's not really something that you would read quickly. But yeah, this thing looks really cool, so that's why I'm going to use it. When was the last time you guys saw me use this weapon? This is the point. Right? There are certain weapons that I just totally forget about, and this is one such example. Why am I using a dragon weapon against a nibble staff? I'd say the reason is fairly obvious. It's because this is a fucking standard nibble staff. These guys don't need that much assistance. I just really like the design of it. It's huge to start with. And it's a very... what's the word I'm looking for? It's not extreme. It's a very harsh weapon design, isn't it? There is a harshness to it. It's a very striking shape. It's simplistic. And yeah, it catches your eye. It immediately catches your eye. It just shows that sometimes simplicity is all you need. Like, a simple but very nice design can be even more impactful than something quite complicated. And this is a perfect example of that. It's a very cool looking sword. Longsword Larry. You dismiss my use of this pretty weapon as me being a Longsword Larry. How dare you? Yeah, I've used this weapon because I am an incorrigible addict who cannot tear himself away from the longsword. Simply cannot separate myself from this weapon because it's so strong, yet requires so little effort, that it's become so comfortable to use that why use anything else is my motto. My philosophy. And the words that I live by. I shall require a cool drink. Well, not require one. I require one for my character's comfort, but I don't require one. In the full sense of the term. Let's swing our big weapon. Yeah, you can see it's big when you swing it, can't you? Look at that side. You know, if I hadn't chosen to take, you know, the longest, most long drawn out and circuitous route to my end goal, which was ultimately to get a fucking successful spirit combo, thus reaching white level charge, I probably would have achieved it. In fact, I would have achieved it twice over, but I chose instead to pretend like I was playing Freedom Unite instead of Generations Ultimate. Fine. Don't flinch me now! You just caused me to get hit because you are too fucking lazy to adjust your attack pattern in accordance with the movements of the monster. You know, I mean, that's your choice, not mine. I was ready to begin evading, and then this guy's like, "What? I'm swinging my weapon around and nothing's gonna stop me. I don't even mind getting hit." Well, in that situation, I did mind getting hit, but you robbed me of my choice as to whether or not I got hit. Which I do take exception to. Oh, there you go. Why do you keep doing that? Drop a bomb if you're going to drop a sonic bomb. Don't you get it? That's only half of the strategy. The full strategy is drop a bomb and then drop a sonic bomb. Because, I mean, just to outline it for those who are unfamiliar, getting this monster to swallow bombs is not an essential, but it's a good thing to do. If you're going to sonic bomb this monster, the reason why sonic bombs are effective is because it gets him to pop out of the ground with a biting attack on a specific position. Now, if this monster with its mouth open passing through a bomb is a good strategy, then getting the monster to come up with its mouth on top of a specific location must have its benefits outside of just getting it to randomly pop up. Yeah, like on a bomb. And sonic bombs don't detonate bombs, so that's the point. You put down a bomb and then drop a sonic and get it to swallow the bomb. That's the point. So again, only half the strategy is being performed. And I'm not that concerned about it, but oh, I couldn't get it down fast enough. I need speed setup. There you go, these guys are going to get it in. Oh, never mind. Alright, you better get your damn sonic bombs out. I want to see a sonic bomb go off right on that bomb. Do it. Go, 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 go. Go, throw it, on the bomb, on the bomb! This is your chance. Don't you? Oh, I think he went for it. It wasn't quite on target. He simultaneously fucked up the positioning and the timing. But I suppose it's the thought that counts, except that it's not, because he failed, and that's frustrating me. Because he has had an eternity, an age, and quite frankly the passage of 1,000,000 years to get that happening, and he hasn't done it, so... Or at least what feels like that amount of time. No one's fishing him out. You know why I never fish him out? It's because someone else always is, but I guess this is a bit of a different team. They might not be familiar with how the monster works. Sometimes it's better to demonstrate than expect people know these things. Alright, this is going to be the killing blow. Because I've got unhinged spirit. I'm so unhinged right now. I'm out of control, in fact. Okay. I'll do a strong attack, says Argonaut. Okay, we get it. Go for it, mate. What have you got? Oh, he's got an amped elemental discharge. Do it, my friend. Don't hit him with the small hit. Okay, good. Took out a fucking... I was about to say, did that Cephalos survive that? I would have been pretty shocked. I would have had to start questioning the damage of the charge blade, which I already do in this game. But I would have had to seriously start questioning that if that failed to kill the Cephalos. That would have been like a highlight on my Twitch channel forever if that fucking Cephalos had survived that. Oh wow. It needed some time to go through its animations before it died, but it obviously died from that attack. One would fucking hope. Bloody hell. Cephalos survives AED. Well, sorry, no, it is SAED. I keep forgetting this. I was under the misapprehension that SAED was what you called it in World. But how it works is AED is the one where you don't have red shield, where it's a slightly different sort of attack. You don't actually slam down the axe and get that big effect. It's a smaller effect, amped elemental discharge. The super one, SAED, is still what it's called in this game. That's what he did, so. Someone corrected me on that some years ago. And I still rather unfortunately misinform you all. As a service, the Doomlink service, misinforming my audience. I'll do one more hunt. I do have more time on Friday nights, I should mention. Because I can go to bed a little bit later. I do work on Saturdays, by the way, at least these days. But I start work later. Which means I can sleep a bit more. That is if I don't choose to get limited sleep and then maximize my free time. Which is what I hate about getting up early. Like, my shifts used to be afternoon and evening shifts, like my whole life up until about a month ago was basically, like, my whole career, my whole work life was evening shifts. And now I'm doing like I'm getting up at 5 AM, so it's been turned on its head, and I've always preferred to get up later. There are two reasons why. The first is that I'm less inclined to use my time after work to then stay up and maximize my free time at the expense of my sleep, because if I get up in the late morning and then start in the afternoon, I've sort of got time before work anyway, so I'm not literally waking up to go to work. On top of that, I seem to sleep better with the knowledge that I'm never going to oversleep and miss work. Like, if I need so much sleep that I don't have any free time before work and starting in the afternoon or evening, then so be it. But I'm never going to actually sleep so much that I'm going to miss work. So, whereas since the change in my schedule, my sleep sucks because I'm always... Part of it is because my phone battery has been having problems. I don't know if you've picked up on this, but my phone battery these days is just fucked up. I need to get a new phone or replace my phone battery. I do have that option with this phone. But you know, my fear is that it unplugs at some point in the night because the USB-C charging port's not 100%. If I wiggle the cable slightly, it'll stop charging. My fear is that, you know, the alarm's not going to go off and I'm going to miss work and whatever else. And so I just don't get a sound sleep, you know. In the back of my mind, I'm constantly kept alert just in case, you know. So that I can, you know, wake up at different periods in the night and just double check the time. It's really bad. And it's causing me to lose sleep. But, no. It's just weird things like that. That's what happens when you've lived your whole life working in the evenings, you know. You become paranoid when you have to wake up early. it's frustrating. I'll bring a lance. I don't remember what we're hunting, so I will bring a blunt lance. Yeah, look, I will suffer the morning shifts for a time. But the time will come again where I decide to work evenings. Big time. Big time. I'm just gonna go through that stage of my life where I'm in the mornings, you know. Getting up at 5 AM. I mean, I don't like that middle ground. I hate getting up at... Well, let's put it in these terms. I hate starting work at like 9 and then finishing at 5. That's terrible. In my case, I'd be doing 9 to 6. And that's shit, because that's your whole day. I either want time in the evening... Well, I'd rather have time in the morning before work, or I would rather have time in the afternoon after work. You know, I don't want my whole fucking day gone. That's shit. That's really bad. So... it's better to have either very early or very late. That middle ground, that standard working schedule of like starting at 9 o'clock, or even 8 o'clock to be honest, that's shit. I don't want that. I'll never want that, and I'll never accept that. That's truly terrible. And any person who puts up with that shit and lives their life like that, I think they would be sadder people as a result. I genuinely believe that. I think they would be less mentally and emotionally healthy as a result. Or maybe they've just adjusted to it so much that there is no detriment for them. But... yeah. So we do now have to engage 2 at once. I'm trying to keep this one in my sights, which I believe is the one we started with. So I've paintballed that one. Oh, very good. I managed to hit that one on the way through. Now that was a fucking joust. I'm happy to refer to that as a joust, completely. Because I am using a jouster's lance. I mean, that is the design of this lance. It is a traditional medieval jousting lance. And I just did shield assault while the Quechuacha, the other one, was passing through. And I hit that one and was not hit myself. So I'd consider that a joust. The only way that you could argue that it wasn't a joust is by saying that technically I hit the Quechuacha with my shield and not my lance. But I don't care. That's a joust. You can like it or lump it, but that was a joust. What are you doing? Are you leaving or you... Talk about a delayed departure. There you go. That's what I like to fucking see. Guys, I'm pursuing the one that we've been hitting... Maybe it's not the one we've been hitting the most. I'm not going to solo this thing. I mean, I could. Whatever. I'll fucking solo it. Let's corkscrew jab. That's excessively zealous for me to have done. And I was just punished as a result. You are rewarded for patience, not impatience. And this is an excellent example of that. Instead of just waiting for my opportunity, I pig-headedly ran in there and just tried to get it out. It was not appropriate. Bloody hell. Come on. You've got a mount. That's good. No, it's not good. I thought for a second it was corkscrew jab that I had saved, but it was instead enraged guard, and needless to say that's not going to be of any help when the monster is on the ground like this. So this is when I should have saved shield assault. Excuse me, this is when I should have saved corkscrew jab. Alright, I think we're about to get him to flee. I want you to hit me. Hit me, please. Yeah. It's pretty weak. You can see it's weak. Looks weak, doesn't it? It might be red, but it's not a very exciting looking effect. But it's better than nothing, isn't it? It is a buff to my damage. Should have countered that, really. It's my... There's my... I fucking pressed select! I started pressing weird things when... You know... It didn't work. But then I pressed select again just in case, and then it did work the second time. Talk about confusing. Alright, this should fucking kill the bastard. Get over here. I'll shield assault you on your arrival. Let's do it. Yeah! Oh no. Got a little too excited there. I don't know how. I wasn't really sure what to expect there. Oof. And he's dead. The other one, who knows? He might be close, he might not be. That Jagia nearly hip checked me. Or more like side check. That's more of a side check. Stop. Who the fuck? I want names. And I want people owning up to it too. I was getting hit from a distance by something. Maybe it was a Jaggy, I don't know. What's happening with White Lion? That guy's sliding around and doing strange things. These Jaggy are aggressive. They need to leave me alone very quickly. Yeah, these guys are lost. I like how White Lion turned thinking that I knew where I was going. But then he saw that I wasn't in combat and then he turned back around. It's like, no, I'm pinging for a reason. Trust the Hunter Rank 999 guy, come on. I'm not like... fresh off the high rank boat. Yeah, I like that. Corkscrew jab, let's fucking kill it. If this is a killing blow, I'll be a happy man. It was not a killing blow, but that's alright. I'm glad Enraged Guard is still in effect. I mean, that's incredible that it lasts that long. That's why it's Enraged Guard 3, I suppose. Maybe Enraged Guard, as it levels up, lasts for longer. That's very cool. Is it balanced? I don't know. I actually don't know. Genuinely. Is it balanced in concept? You couldn't really say for sure. There are some things that are balanced in concept, and then other things that really aren't. You know, a buff to the lance that is proportional to the amount of damage received when you're in that window where you can receive damage and then have that buff your weapon. I mean, in principle and concept, no, that's not overpowered. Things like God, what are they called? I can never remember what they're called. You know, the longsword hunter art that gives you the infinite charge gauge, and also the insect glaive hunter art that gives you all 3 colors. You know, those in concept are imbalanced. But I'd say Enraged Guard's fine. I didn't actually see where the fuck this monster went. It went where it was most likely to go. And White Lion either saw where the monster was going, or he was banking on that monster going there. That would have been very cool if I got a mount off that. There you go. That's a good knockdown. I like seeing everyone get in there and just beat on the monster. I've been doing almost no counters. I don't know if you've noticed that. I'd like to be able to keep pressing all the wrong buttons. I didn't know Ketchawasha went in that direction to sleep, but hopefully it's this way and not up the mountain. If it's up the mountain, I'll be very upset. Sorry. I mean, sorry, not sorry. I don't care. Get a taste of your own medicine. I'm the lance guy. I always have to put up with being put on my hands and knees by weapon attacks. That was a very funny mid-air flinch. I wouldn't call that instant karma. I'd say that guy's trying to get even. Bastard. There is no getting even. I was the counterweight to achieve equilibrium. I was not fucking, you know, unfairly advantaged in that moment. Ugh. Ugh, getting pretty tired. That's not to suggest that I'm going to bed soon, but it is to say that I'm a bit too tired to be doing recordings. The exhaustion of the day is catching up. It may have been Generations Ultimate, but I enjoyed this recording. I was in the right mood to record. I felt like I did better in this recording than I usually do, just to be candid with you all. Every recording for me, it's not like it's a performance, but it's a presentation. Consider it to be a presentation, because there's a commentary involved, and some days are better than others with commentary. This is one of my good days, okay? And what it is, it's mood. It's willingness to be here and do it, and it's mood, and that is what dictates quality. And today, things sort of aligned, so I felt like today was good. So even though it was Generations Ultimate, and this was not at all my first choice, as far as what game I was going to play in the Monster Hunter series, it was okay. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. I will see you when I'm next recording Monster Hunter or anything else you would like to see, and I bid you all farewell for now. See you next time.